Hello my fellow viewers, my name is Jay and today this is my first theory video on the channel. This theory has been bothering me ever since I've read Batman Three Jokers. If you don't know already, the Three Jokers is a 3-issue mini-series where all 3 Jokers are committing individual crimes across Gotham and the police think it's impossible. And the heroes on the job are Batgirl, Jason Todd and Batman. We find out at the end that 2 of the Jokers die and there is one left to make it not confusing for the writers in the future. And it basically reveals around one of the biggest questions in DC Comics history. That question is, who is the Joker? However, the story truly starts in Justice League issue 42, where Batman finally knows about the 3 Jokers, and it starts with Batman in the Mobius chair, and he is asked the question, what's the Joker's true name? And in that moment, he gets the answer. But the answer was more complicated than just a word or 2. It told him that there were 3 Jokers all along, right under his nose. The first Joker, and the original, is the criminal. He is the Joker from the Golden Age comics where Batman had a gun and the Joker was a gangster. He wasn't a lunatic, but still killed a lot of people. Then we go to the Clown, where he was the Silver Age comics, and could be the New 52 era. This was during the Comics Code Authority and how comic books can make children become violent, and people started burning comic books, and many went out of business. More of that from the YouTuber NerdSync. The video is above me here. The Clown doesn't use guns, but he used more comedic items like laughing teeth, clownfish, and had a little henchman called Gaggy, which is a court jester. He was also the one that presumably killed Jason in a Death in the Family storyline, and where he eventually became the Red Hood. He used these in the New 52 era, with the laughing teeth being rope. However, it could also be the comedian because of his fascination with Gordon, and it's implied in the 3 Jokers that he is the comedian, so that is a difficult one. While the comedian is the Killing Joke Joker and the original Red Hood. I have just found out that he was not the original Red Hood, and the original Red Hood was the criminal, and he was the second Red Hood. With him falling in chemicals which made his skin become white and crippled Barbara Gordon. He also enjoys torturing Commissioner Gordon, and is most of the modern comics, with him even having a solo comic series called The Joker. But as I said, he could also be in the New 52 era. So I bet you're asking, what does this got to do with the movie iteration of the Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime? Well, I'll tell you now, because I think that the 3 Jokers are already in live action, and that the concept was already thought of by the beginning of the Batman movie from 1989, and it's been under the audience's noses all the time without anyone realising it.
You know this guy's a boring piece of shit. He doesn't know what he's going to do with his life.
I don't know what to do.
He went to his Xbox to see if he wanted to play a game, but his Xbox was turned off.
Oh no, my Xbox is not working. What am I supposed to do now?
That useless piece of shit garbage. What do you think he's going to do next? Probably just mope around like an idiot. 1 point for me. He then reads a book thinking that he's intellectual. Obviously, he's as thick as a pile of rock. Until he stumbles on an idea.
Wait, I could make a theory on this. Then, I could make a theory about anything. I could make a theory. This. About Ghostbusters. I could make a theory about Universal Monsters. I could even make a theory about an adventure through space and time. What theories could they be? I wonder.
Theory person. Theory person. Episode 1. The Three Jokers have already made their debut on the big screen.
If anyone is realising, this theory that I made was before the Batman movie deleted scene with the Joker, so I'm mainly going to focus on the Batman 1989, The Dark Knight, Suicide Squad, and Joker from the live action movie iterations as there is there. So there's just a need to know, saying if anyone's pointing out in the comments that why haven't you done the Batman, Joker, oh, what's that? Because I haven't figured that one out. That the theory was all before that came out. Tim Burton's Batman, or as some people call it, Batman 1989. This was with Michael Keaton, who played Batman, and it was dark and gothic feel to Gotham City. This introduced the Joker to the big screen, played by Jack Nicholson. He was a gangster and he had his own gang, and when he became the Joker, he killed his boss and became the true mob boss. This was obviously, if you haven't guessed it, it's the criminal. It's a bit ironic how the first iteration of the Joker on the big screen was the first Joker ever made, which were in the comics from the 40s to the mid-50s. In the movie, there was no mention of Laughing Fish or Joker Teeth to say it was the clown, and it was definitely not the comedian with how he was supposed to be a normal person. He was already a criminal before he became the Joker, and his performance as the Joker was more serious than dark and insane. He also made plans and knew what he was doing, and it wasn't chaos for chaos sake. One of, or the best Batman movie ever made in people's opinion, is The Dark Knight, and it has one of the best Jokers, the best in cinematic live action, but not the best animated, which most people go for Mark Hamill. And this one is Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight. Now, this iteration of the Joker is sadistic, menacing, and fucking terrifying. I mean, it was him, the Weeping Angels, and the Autons. They were the only ones I was terrified of when I was a kid. Literally. I would even refuse for my parents to watch it. I was that terrified. And that is a great performance. The Joker was a mix between two. It's the comedian because he tells the stories of his past, but they're mostly all different ones, which he probably made up, not like the comedian where the story he made up was right. So he more leans into the clown. This is mainly with his plan and his weapons and how he loves the theatrics, and then blowing up a hospital just for attention and publicity, and how he just wants utter chaos and he has no real plan. He doesn't want to be rich, which was showed by the scene in the movie where he burns his half of the money, and how he kills people for no reason, and that he always laughs doing it. He loves every second of it, just like a show. Even Alfred says one of the greatest lines I have ever heard in movie history. Some men just want to see the world burn. The picture of the Joker's face, Heath Ledger's. He is playing one who doesn't want anything, care about anyone, and just loves destruction. He doesn't care about Batman. The only line he says which connects them is, "You're not so different, you and I." And that was just to mess with him. The next movie is my opinion, has got the worst Joker. I think a majority of people's got the worst Joker. And that's in the Suicide Squad. And his Joker iteration is also the criminal. Yes. You're saying that, oh, Jay, you said just about 2 minutes ago that Jack Nicholson was the criminal. Well, I'll explain why they're both the criminal at the end of the video. You just have to watch and see. First, I'm going to tell you why. Because he has his own club, his own gang, and he doesn't laugh that much. He's more similar to the criminal in the comics because of the amount of screen time, and in the comics it hurts when he laughs. So that is the reason why he doesn't laugh. And because Jered Leto, the Joker, isn't as insane as the clown or the criminal in the other movies, and is just a mobster that would, like, if you crossed him in a bad mood, it would be horrendous, horrifying, terrifying. And the only difference is that he has green hair. And that he throws Harley Quinn the chemicals. I think Harley's more sadistic and insane than he is, and that never happens. She's usually about the same or a little bit less. But it makes total sense if he was the criminal, because he's just a bad guy who looks like a clown and only a little crazy than being outright psychopathic or maniac. Now, this movie right here is the best DC movie in my opinion, and the Batman is only shot by a little bit. But this Joker made me emotional, and Jaquan's performance is unreal and it's magnificent. This is how you write the comedian's origin story. And that's what Joker is in this movie. It's the most logical sense, and literally the whole movie is evidence for it. Even though his name isn't the same, he's a failed comedian, has a family trauma, and has had not one but a few bad days. This is the most realistic iteration of the character, and it goes the same with the comedian. In the comics, compared to the other Jokers, which were criminals or just lunatics, this one had a family and went into the wrong crowd, and this could be anyone. In the movie, he gets beaten up, abused by his mother at a young age, lied to about his father, and has several hallucinations about what could have been. The hallucinations have literally been seen in the Three Joker comic, issue 2, where it starts with him having dinner with his family, and a few panels later, it cuts back to reality, where he's eating food with a mannequin and a teddy bear. And there is a scene in The Joker which shows him going on a date with a woman he met in the elevator, and then it cuts back to reality, where he goes into her apartment and startled by his entry, but not a happy startled, like a good surprise. No, it's a scared startle, like get out of my house startle, with her expression being scared and frightened, and then he leaves confused. So was the audience, or is the audience. But that wasn't losing sanity with what's real and what's fake. He's a very relatable because he just wants to be noticed and appreciated than being made fun of or beaten up being beaten up. He never got what he was he never got it when he was a child and was lied to by his mother. This film made a killer who was unsympathetic, sadistic, and a psychopath become empathetic, loving, and someone you would root to succeed. However, their character will probably become unsympathetic and hated if they carry on with making a planned sequel. But they made elements of a character opposite of the Joker and turned him into the Joker, the comedian, to show the phrase that one bad day could make anyone a sadistic killer. So, you're probably asking, but there's 4 Jokers in the DC universe. Is this theory useless because there's 3 Jokers and there's 4 in the movie iteration if you don't count the Batman? No, because as I said earlier, there's 2 criminals. And the reason why is that these Jokers are from parallel universes. All these movies are not from the same universe. Like the DCU Joker is Jared Leto. And that's why he was in the Snyder Cut as well. The Batman, the very early 4 movies, Jack Nicholson's the Joker. And so on for the Dark Knight and the Batman. All I'm saying is, they could easily make a 3 Jokers movie because the multiverse is possible. Because for Marvel, they've done Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness already, Spider-Man Far From Home, so they could like take a bit of formula out of that and put the multiverse in it. And what they could do is make either Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker team up together, fight against Christian Bale's Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, and maybe Robert Pattinson's probably not. But then it could also be Heath Ledger's Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and Jared Leto's Joker, because, as you've already picked up by now, that Heath Ledger's Joker's the clown, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker's the comedian, Jack Nicholson / Jared Leto's Joker's the criminal. So they could make a movie like that. And it could be a 3 Jokers live action movie, which would be great. Thank you so much for watching, but take it as a pint of salt, or whatever it is. It's just a theory. So, it could happen, but it probably won't happen. I'd love to have a live action movie with 3 Jokers, but it probably won't happen. It's just something that I thought of, which I wanted to get out there, because I thought it's a really good idea, and it really makes a bit of sense and it's got a bit of evidence to it. So if you like this video and enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and yeah, just support my channel. See you guys.